Hello, everyone. Make sure you share this. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell so that you're getting all of my notifications. Okay, and so this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about We Demand Reparations, my new single. I wanted to put something out there um, in lieu of watching an interview that Tupac Shakur did. And I'm going to leave the link down below for his video. So make sure you go check out that video. And it was a question he was asked. I forgot what the question was, but I do remember his answer. And it has something to do with the imbalance of finances in the world, and how there could be poor versus rich. And he was talking about how he doesn't understand how people could have 23 to 26 rooms in their house, but yet you go see all this homelessness. And so that's what he was talking about. And so I'm going to leave that description on them, and I'm going to leave that link down below. And here's my stance on that. 100%, I feel like Tupac Shakur he was a prophet. Prophets are people who help communities of people and who shed light on injustices in the world. And I feel like that was what he was, and doing God's work. And I feel like that's what he was. A lot of people feel like because there was so much quote unquote violence in his music that you can't call him a prophet. Well, the quote unquote violence that was in his music was violence, quote unquote violence, that he was facing, that our people are facing. So yes, you can call him a prophet. And so I feel like there is a huge boundary between falsettos and reality. And he was in reality. And a lot of rappers today are in falsettos and live in falsettos. And so I try my hardest to stay living in reality. When it comes to my music and when it comes to my rapping, as I said with The Last Poets, before I had the opportunity to watch them. I don't know if you guys know who The Last Poets are. The Last Poets are one of the first original rappers. Actually, they're said to be the first original rappers. And they started it. They began it. As I questioned them, I asked them, what it was all about. They began it on the specific day that Malcolm X was murdered. And the reason they began their quest was to enlighten people for the truth. Okay? And so in my lyrics, it's truthful. It's truthful. We demand reparations. And let me tell you, the African American culture is one of the cultures that has built up this country. Not only one of the cultures, it's like the most powerful culture that has built up this country. Whether it was the sweat off their brow, whether it was through their works, or our works, I should say. I'm African American as well as Native American as well as Caucasian, okay? As well as, raising children that were parts of other people's children, as well as having their culture stripped, or having our culture stripped from us, having the injustices that have taken place with the African American culture, also the Native American culture as well. But in this specific song, this one specifically, I am referring to the injustices of the minorities of the African American and Native American people. We all know that those injustices were deeper than just injustices. Like literally, and let's put it this way. You take a white person, you take a white man, and you take an African American man. The white man's mother and father and their mother and father and their mother and father and the way their lifestyle was, okay, is going to be completely different than African American. So eventually their ripple effect upon generations, it is taking still time to how should I say, release those, that bondage. um, you know, a lot of people feel like bondage is a state of mind, which it is, but when it comes to the African American people, you know, you're talking about a whole years upon years upon years upon years upon years upon years upon years of bondage, 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 bondage. So it became in their DNA structure, in our DNA structure, where it shows even in days like today or times like today. And I would also like to interject, I feel like once the African American people and Native Americans are given reparations, I do feel like there's going to be a whole release, prosperous release over our land. And I do feel like the pandemic is a karma. I want to say that again. I feel like this pandemic is a karma due to the injustices that have been done on the African American culture as well as the Native American culture. There are several other cultures that have been done, you know, unjustly. However, when it comes to the African American culture and when it comes to the Native American culture, it's a wee bit different because we're talking about slavery. You take another culture, let's say, for example, you talk about the injustices that Hitler done, that Hitler did. Okay, they were given reparations. African American people and Native Americans are the only people that have not been given reparations for the injustices that have been caused. And so I think we can move on, okay? But I feel like there is spiritually, karma is not going to allow us to move in a graceful and prosperous way or manner as a country and as a people and community unless reparations have been given. Hopefully you guys got something from that. And this is something that's so deep, and it can go in a whole lot of, this conversation can go in a lot of different directions. But I just wanted to let you guys know why I released a song like that, of that nature. And when I say in a song, I say, we demanded our reparations. They hung us malevolence. We rose with elegance, stealing our innocence. This air of arrogance bleeds in my blood like tsunami flood. Up through the mud, I'm bleeding stardust. The most high I trust. This war's unjust. Divine divinity, elite society. This about loyalty. Rules of my family, fighting disparity. Where is the hope? They loosen the rope, then sell us the dope that murdered my fam. OD'd on a gram, the man in the mirror sleeps with a conscience. I'm just quoting the prophet. It's hell on earth when bullets are burning. We not killing our children. Greatest I'm quoting. Okay, you're not killing our children. Greatest I'm quoting. Okay, so when I say that, we picking the locks coming through the door blasting. When I say that, I am referring to and quoting the prophet of Tupac Shakur. And yes, to me, he was a prophet. To a lot of communities, he was a prophet because he spoke the truth. And in that interview, that I'm going to leave that link down below, and that link, in that interview, he spoke about the injustices, how there are people with 23 and 26 rooms, but then you go to Skid Row and you see thousands upon thousands of people that are homeless. So I feel like there has been this whole redistribution when it comes to finances. I feel like there's this whole karma placed over our land. And I do feel like that once reparations has been released for the African American and Native American culture, I do really feel like genuinely that blessings will begin to bestow upon us, and that we will, not only because we already have the vaccine, I feel like there's going to be, there's not only just going to be a vaccine, but there's going to be an antibiotic that shows, that surfaces. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'm also going to leave the link below. Make sure you download and support your girl, okay? So that I can continue to make the music. Where is the hope? They loosen the rope. They sell us the dope. That murdered my fam. OD'd on the gram. Yeah, that happened too. That's real. So I'm just talking about real stuff that's going on in the music. I'm sorry, going on in the community, going on in my world, going on in people's world, going on in other people's worlds. And, and hopefully through through my music, hopefully I'm touching somebody. Through my words, hopefully I'm touching somebody. So leave down below in the comments, what do you think? Do you think we should be able to get reparations? What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Okay? Stay shining. Much love. Bye.